Hey, welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast, powered by ComEd. It's getting easier for your business to switch to electric vehicles. Learn more at ComEd.com/clean. I'm Jay Zawaski with Greg Boysen, and we've got a special guest on the set here for the first segment. It is Pete Blackburn of the What Chaos Podcast. What's up, Pete?
Hello.
Thanks for being with us, man.
In person. Look
In
at us.
person.
Thanks for
Oh,
traveling
yeah.
to Chicago just to do.
That's right.
Yeah, for
just to
15
see you
minutes with
guys,
us.
just for this 30-minute hit.
You are a dedicated employee. We appreciate that.
Well, it's good to have you. We're going to get into it, everything with Pete, as we always do on Wednesdays, but we want to remind you to make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page and smash that like button for us. Same deal on your favorite podcast app. Follow, subscribe, and a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify would be greatly appreciated. I know you got to take in the Hawks and Preds game last night. We talked a little bit about it off the air. Mm-hmm. What were your impressions of Bedsy in person?
Second time I've seen him.
Yeah.
Second time I've seen him.
Right.
That's my second Hawks game of the year. I will be going to my third on tomorrow. And it's the Ducks. So it's like 3 times as many Bruins games as I've seen back home. No, it was a good game. It was a better game than I expected. I know Nashville's been hot. The Blackhawks are the Blackhawks. I don't need to tell anybody here or anybody listening. They are what they are, and there was some observations about what they might not be. They're a pretty soft team, not getting kind of frustrating to see that they don't go to the net a lot of the time, and there's a lot of peeling away in the offensive zone that can drive me crazy at times. But like my guy Nick Foligno had a couple goals. Competitive game, especially down towards the end, and then got to see a Connor Bedard shootout goal. Hell yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I had said after the Sunday game, we've talked, maybe this team doesn't have an identity yet. And I'm like, I think we know what their identity is.
It's bad.
They're outworked. They don't win a lot of one-on-one battles. It's not the identity you want, but it's the identity you have.
Right. I mean, it's one of those seasons where you can acknowledge what's missing, and you can acknowledge that they're not a great team. But this season, you're seeing what you get from the guys that are here and who's going to stick. And that's what you watch for in a season like this.
And you're now the fewest points in the NHL. So I cannot wait for when the Blackhawks get the first pick overall again and just the insanity that's going to happen. Or, Jay said it yesterday too, if they don't get it, we're going to be like, it's rigged against us. They were so.
You don't get to say that. You don't get to say that.
They just didn't want to give it to us 2 years in a row because
they didn't want it to be obvious.
They didn't want it to be accused it was rigged, so they rigged it against us. So one way or the other, we're going to have fun with it.
I'll tell you what, a Cole Yzerman Blackhawks jersey would go hard, and I love that guy. Putting him on Bedard's wing for like the next decade would rule.
I'm not against that. I'm not against that at all.
No, I'm. Look, man, bring me all the talent.
Another top 5 pick. It was exactly what they wanted to do this season, and now, I mean, you may get
sure put
top
themselves
3.
in a position. That's for sure.
They sure did.
Well, I want to get your take. You're going to see Hawks and Ducks tomorrow, and the way that speaking of top picks, the way the Ducks are handling the Leo Carlson rookie season.
Speaking of top picks, the Ducks are terrible.
Yeah, they've
been
good.
really bad the past month or so.
But if folks don't know, what they're doing with Leo Carlson is kind of easing him into the NHL. So he'll play, he'll sit, he'll play, he'll sit. And it's hard to argue with the results. He's got 13 points in 17 games. What did you make of that? It's kind of an unprecedented thing in the NHL to kind of soft launch a prospect.
Yeah, it's interesting. We had this discussion on What Chaos, and it's a situation where you can see both sides. You can see like trying to protect your investment, trying to ease him into the workload, trying to especially preserve him for down the stretch. But like, especially when you look at the Ducks and how they played over the past month, like what are you trying to preserve him for down the stretch? Like you may be well out of a playoff position. it would bother me. It might bother me as one of the guys in the room right now on the Ducks to recognize that Leo Carlson is one of your best players and he's not playing every night. That would bug me. And I also think to a certain extent, like, you can't prep him for the grind without putting him through the grind.
Right.
And I understand that what they're trying to do right now is they're trying to make sure that he's fresh enough to put in work in the weight room. They really want to beef him up, especially his lower body, so that he can withstand the second half of the season. But I think at some point, and trial by fire is the way to go.
Well, that's kind of it's kind of what we're dealing with here. And it's not just Bedard. Like, Bedard's going to go in; he's going to handle it. But we look at Korchinski, and we look at Reichel, and it's the balance of throw them into the fire, but don't burn them too badly at the same time, because we're looking at Lucas Reichel, who's got zero confidence right now. Mm-hmm. You talked about the peeling off. I wrote about it for ALLCITY.com if you want to check it out today. There's a play in overtime where he's basically one-on-one with the step on the defenseman.
Last night?
Yes.
Where he could have easily tucked his shoulder and gone to the net, and instead he peels off in the circle. I remember watching that and being like, what is going on?
Yes. You're Lucas Reichel with a speed advantage on a defenseman who's off balance, skating backwards, just skating backwards, and you opt to not attack. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing a lot. You mentioned how the team is soft, and I think Reichel is the guy who, he had his time in Rockford, though, and he had his call up here, and he had success. What we're seeing with him is a broken player. So that's kind of the thing is, at what point do you have to pull that back and say, it's too much for you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if it's like a broken player. It's just kind of, to me, like that's half a coaching thing too. Like, you can be coached to, if you're put in this situation, lower the shoulder, go to the dirty areas. I know that some players just don't have that in them, but when nobody's really doing it, or a large majority of the team is not doing it, that makes me question what the message is and what the instinct is. So you want to see it seems like it's a wider thing for the Blackhawks that nobody's really doing that.
Well, it's strange because Luke Richardson, what we love about him as a coach is he is a coach that will give you something when we talk to him. You ask a specific question, he'll say, this is what I was thinking, or he'll say, we were in the video room, we talked to him about XYZ, and everything he says and everything they do in practice is to toughen up, is to keep it simple, is to go to the net, and then the puck drops, and it's a different team that we saw at Fifth Third Arena, 2 days prior.
Yeah, there is it's probably a lack of confidence thing, both on an individual level and as a group thing, where, if you have the confidence in yourself and you see that opportunity, you probably go to the net. But if you're second guessing yourself, say, I don't want to make a mistake, or things aren't going well for me right now, maybe I'll find somebody else. And they both from a Reichel standpoint and a Blackhawks standpoint, it's not going super well right now.
No, that's for sure. They was there for practice this morning, and the Ducks, all their jerseys were going by on the rack. I guess they had to use the laundry facility or something. I'm assuming they're practicing there today, but I couldn't see if the Carlson jersey was on the rack. I'm going to be pissed.
I'll be
if
pissed.
He's not playing last, because you already denied us the Fantilli Carlson matchup. Was that because we drafted Carlson over Fantilli, and Fantilli outplays him? We're going to take some crap. I'm on that conspiracy theory.
If that's the case, that is the weakest losers mentality.
Then you should draft Fantilli.
That would be the weakest, most loser mentality thing I've ever seen in my life. If you're trying to protect a guy from the guy that was picked behind him.
It doesn't sound like Pat Verbeek to me.
I don't know. Pat Verbeek is weird.
Yeah, he's
so
weird. There's no doubt about that.
If he denies us Bedard versus Carlson,
he won't.
I will make sure he gets
might.
no gummy bears in the press box. I will box him out.
This will be the second time that if it happens, it'll be the second time I've missed Carlson in person. So
maybe
I'll be pissed.
Maybe he's got a vendetta against you.
Maybe he doesn't like me. Maybe they're shielding him from me.
He heard you badmouth him maybe 4 or 5 years ago. He's like, screw that Blackburn guy. He's not.
Yeah, well, we know you got a short amount of time, so a couple other league stuff we want to get you with. Edmonton has won 7 of 10. McDavid has 14 points in the last 5. Are the Oilers back, quote, galvanized?
I mean, I think that the Oilers were always like the Oilers were never going to fall completely out of the discussion.
Yeah.
The point of the Oilers and their existence is that they can always hang around and they can always make you question who and what they are, but they're never going to be fully out of the discussion. So, like, obviously, their performance largely hinges on how McDavid's playing, how Draisaitl's playing, how their stars are playing. And McDavid wasn't right for a while. I think it's clear that he's right now. And if you've got the best player in the world playing like the best player in the world, you're going to have a chance. It's just whether does the goaltending hold up. Like, they're running Stuart Skinner into the ground. We don't know if the Jack Campbell reclamation project is working. He's letting up some bad goals at the AHL level. So, like, the jury is still definitely out on the Oilers, but they're always going to be around, and they're always going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think they, had they played like we expected them to play, and then they had that 1-9 stretch in February, I don't think the panic would have been as bad as it was. Like, people would be concerned, like, oh my God, this isn't the contender we thought they were. But doing that to start the season just amplified it.
My big issue with the Oilers is that they put themselves in such a hole at the beginning of the season that they basically have to play almost perfect or like not have another bad stretch for the rest of the season, and I don't trust Edmonton to do that.
Right.
Like, at some point the wheels are going to fall off again, and they can't afford that. They can't afford many more stinkers throughout the rest of the season, or else they're going to miss.
Yeah, we saw that with the Panthers last year, but they have a deeper team to where and better goaltending to where they can.
Kachuk was just held together with duct tape and glue by the time he reached the final.
I mean, it's easy to forget given the playoff run that Bobrovsky had, but like Alex Lyon carried the Florida Panthers into the playoffs with ungodly goaltending in the last like month and change of the season. So like they don't make the playoffs if they're not getting the saves.
Right. And if Buddy Robinson's not scoring in Pittsburgh.
That's right. Got to build a statue outside the UC for him. Last thing I want to get you with, last night was the Hughes Bowl. Jack and Quinn and Luke all playing together. I raised a poll on the CHGO Blackhawks Twitter account. If you could add one of the Hughes brothers to the Blackhawks, who would it be? I voted for Jack, but upon further review, I think the ability to add Quinn Hughes, a generational great, no doubt, number one, two-way offensive defenseman, is very tempting. And, Greg, as we talk about the Hawks dynasties, say what you want about Taves and Kane and Hossa, they might not win a single cup without Duncan Keith. So the ability to add a guy like that, pretty tempting. I'm interested to see what people think about that. But in general, Pete, like, I think it's a given that Jack's going to be the best, but for your Bruins.
For my Bruins. Oh, I mean, like, I'm going to approach it the way that I approach the NHL draft, which is I think that teams should always draft based, especially in the first round, like draft based on the best player available, not based off your individual team needs. So like, and especially considering the Blackhawks aren't like a generational defenseman away from being a Stanley Cup contender right now. Like, need a lot of pieces. Yeah. So I'm going to take the best player on the board, and I think that that's Jack, because Jack, I think, is the best playmaker in the NHL, not named Connor McDavid. And
it's hard to argue that.
If you can take a guy like that, even if he's second on the depth chart, if Jack Hughes is your number 2 center behind Connor Bedard, like it's essentially like a Bergeron Krejci type of situation where you got 2 number 1 centers. If you get 2 number 1 centers, you're probably automatically one of the best teams in the league for a sustainable amount of time.
Not a bad power play unit either.
No, not at all. No, I agree. I don't think you can go wrong with any of those guys, obviously. But Jack is the guy just because, your defensemen are, those two-way defensemen are so important. But center is where the games are won and lost. Like, center depth separates playoff teams from actual Stanley Cup contenders.
You just look at the 2010s. It was L.A., it was Chicago, it was Boston, it was Pittsburgh.
They were all very deep down the middle.
Very deep down the middle, exactly. Well, Pete, we appreciate you coming on, man. I know you've got a crazy busy trip here, so enjoy it. Do you get any time to, like, have fun?
Tonight, well, I mean, like I have fun. Like, I mean, I know that you guys probably have less fun with the Blackhawks than I do because you have to do this every day. But like, I had fun at the Blackhawks game, both games I've gone to this year. So it's still fun for me to watch hockey, regardless of who's playing. So like, that's fun to me. I'm sure I'll find myself somewhere at like a dive bar or something tonight.
Yeah, we've got a few of those in this town.
Yeah.
We got the barn hockey bar is right there.
I hit that
on
last
Ogden.
night.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
It's not a bad spot. Yeah. Yeah. This will be a fun trip for sure.
Good.
All right. Well, we'll see you at the United Center tomorrow. We'll wave to you. Pass you
Perfect.
down
Are you
some
in the
soup.
seats or are you in the box?
I'll be in the seats.
All right. Well,
You can't drink beer in the box.
We'll wave at you, throw you some gummy
You
bears.
shouldn't drink beer in the box. You probably could.
No comment.
No comment. All right. That is Pete Blackburn from the What Chaos Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to that. It has quickly become my second favorite hockey podcast. After this one, of course.
Obviously, yeah.
I like the host on this one. Thanks, Pete.
I like the Hossa on this one. Remember when that was?
Remember when Hossa was here?
That was
Do
awesome.
we still have that water bottle? How's the cloning going?
Yeah. I my science is not great with
Ooh.
it, but yes, it is still it is still there.
The back to tank, we have the Hossa growing in there. There's a tail and like 4 legs. We'll get it better. We'll get it right next time. But hey, Marion Hossa is a hero. And you know what you need in your life? Another hero. And that's hero bread. Because you know what? Bread, while it's the greatest thing in the world, is not always the best thing for you in the world. Lots of carbs, lots of starch, lots of calories. And as much as I love it, I'd like to live beyond the age of 65. So I started using hero bread, and I'm glad I did because it is really delicious, first and foremost. Because as soon as like I have to sacrifice a little bit of taste for health, like even a little bit, I'm out. Just give me the tastier option. Hero bread is as good as any bread I've ever had. It goes for the tortillas and everything they offer as well. It is so damn good. The bread is soft and fluffy, high fiber, and ultra low net carbs, and or 0 grams of sugar per slice. They make breads, buns, tortillas, all available on hero.co and Amazon. Hero bread has fewer calories than the leading national brand and 5 to 10 grams of protein per serving. Go to hero.co. Why? Because you're going to use that code CHGO and you're going to save 10% off your first order of Hero Bread. Again, go to hero.co and use that code CHGO to save 10% on Hero Bread today.
Hey, can you believe we're this deep into the NFL season?
No.
I mean, the Bears have been so exciting and fun to watch every Sunday. It's hard
Riveting.
to believe that we're 14 weeks into this already.
Riveting stuff.
We got to make every second count. With DraftKings Sportsbook, you can make the most out of every game day. Bet on your favorite teams for a shot at winning big bucks or the Bears. New customers can score $150 instantly in bonus bets by betting $5 on any matchup. I'm looking at the Lions for this week's game against the Bears and the mighty Detroit Lions.
It's funny to finally be able to say that and not be sarcastic about
I'm
it.
still kind of sort of sarcastic about it.
Yeah, you're still the
I mean,
Lions.
they were embarrassed on home field by these Bears for 56 minutes.
Yep. Then what happened?
Yeah, well, then the Bears showed up. Kind of a fun bet at plus 320 on DraftKings. Result of the Bears' first drive, field goal attempt. Plus 320.
They don't even have to make it?
Just in a field goal attempt. Plus 320, Bears' first drive. That's the bet I'm
Interesting.
going with. Because you know what? All they could do is kick field goals in the last game.
Here's my thing, though, Lon. Maybe we're on the same page.
Yeah.
The last game against Detroit, they lost it because they played scared. So I wonder if the first drive they're going to say it's 4th and 2, F it, we're going for it,
Well,
and turnover on down.
Here's my thought is that
Well, turnover on downs or any kind of turnover is plus 475.
Ooh.
now, you know, Luke Getsy, he cannot actually coach, but he knows how to put the script together. So the first drive, the Bears, you usually get to see competent offense, and then after that, he's clueless. So I think it's touchdown or bust for him in that first drive. But
Touchdown is a 360. Plus 360.
Okay.
So those are your options.
I sprinkle both of those.
A
I like
punt
sprinkling.
is plus 105.
That makes sense.
Field goal attempt plus 320. 360 for the touchdown, 475 for a turnover, safety, or turnover on downs.
Sprinkle a little bit on field goal or touchdown.
There you go. But those are your fun. Those are your fun bets. Because why I like those bets? once the first drive's over, you're done.
Yeah.
You don't have to sweat it out.
The stress is
you
over,
can
right?
change the channel and watch good football. So get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the app now and use the promo code CHGO. New customers can score $150 instantly in bonus bets by betting just $5 on the NFL, only on DraftKings Sportsbook. With the code CHGO, the crown is yours. Deep breath. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. Please play responsibly. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, must be 21 or older in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms.
Flawless victory. Well done. I liked it.
Man,
Very good job.
I haven't heard that. That's a game that
I have something has happened to my Reels algorithm where all I get is Mortal Kombat content. I have no idea why. But then I'm like, oh, let's see how violent this game has gotten. Yep, it's violent, so it just keeps coming and coming and coming. So I'm very desensitized
My real
right now.
algorithm is either pugs or large-chested women. I don't know why.
Weird.
It's
Very
so
weird.
Those are two
I don't know
very
how that
specific.
happened.
Yeah, I mean, it has nothing to do with my search history at all.
No, that's my TikTok. Anyway,
God.
last weekend, we got to go to South Bend.
We did.
Notre Dame and Michigan played a pair of games back-to-back. Notre Dame won the first one. That's the one we were at. And then the next day, Michigan got the 2-1 win. So we caught up with Frank Nazar and Landon Slaggert after game one. And I think you'll be able to tell. We probably didn't have to say who won or lost based on the expressions on the faces. But we're going to play Frank Nazar first. This is fresh off a, 6-1?
6-1.
Yeah, they got their asses whooped. The Irish will do that to you now and again. But we got to talk to Frank Nazar. Thanks to all the great folks in Michigan for making this happen. So here he is, Frank Nazar, after losing to the Irish 6-1.
Development camp this summer, coming off an injury. How are you feeling right now? How's your game compared to where you were last time we saw you?
Yeah, obviously tonight wasn't the best game, but throughout the season it's been getting better as we moved on, and just working on just some small parts and trying to dial those things in. But from last time I saw you guys, talk to you guys, it's obviously a game changer in how I'm playing and how I feel, like physically. So it's definitely a good thing moving forward.
You feel like your speed is all the way back, or are you still sort of building up to full throttle Frank Nazar?
No, it's definitely there. Just obviously you got to get in the weight room. When you're going up against older guys, it's tougher to still have that one extra step right off the bat. But no, I feel way better than I did the last 2 years, and probably the best I felt ever.
You had any time to watch any of the Blackhawks games when you're off time, catching up on Connor and some of the other potential teammates?
Yeah, in the beginning of the season, I was able to watch a lot more than I am now. But I've been watching a lot and keeping up on how they're doing and watching the young guys play and seeing how they're doing.
When you watch that and you know that, like, hey, this is a perfect situation for young guys, it kind of gets you excited about potentially your role with the team?
Yeah, I mean, see guys like Kevin and Connor going in there, and I mean, they're past their 10 games, like they're staying the whole season, and they've proved that they can stay up. Obviously, they're not winning every game, but they're showing that they can compete against those high-end players every night. And I mean, obviously, that's something I look forward to trying to do, and it's motivation moving forward.
When you're here, how much do you hear from like the Hawks development staff, or like do they reach out? Do they get in contact with you? And how much of a say do they have in your like development here?
Yeah, I talk to them a lot, honestly, a few times a month, and they help a lot with like other things like film and off ice stuff. But I mean, they don't really have a say in much of like what I'm doing off the ice. Obviously, that's the guys at Michigan, and they know what they're doing, so I trust those guys. They're just more of like trying to make sure that I'm doing the right things, and the guys at Michigan know what they're doing, so obviously they're keeping me on the right path.
What's it like, in the Big Ten, you got a night like tonight, you're playing against the potential for future teammate in Slaggert, or when you play Minnesota and those guys there, is that a little extra oomph, since guys that already have a relationship with those guys?
Yeah, it's always fun going up against guys like that you know like really well, and obviously you try your best to keep them off the score sheet. But Slags had a good night tonight, and he's having a really good season, so props to him.
That is Frank Nazar after the Notre Dame-Michigan game. And, boy, I'm frustrated with iPhones and stuff, like microphones.
Yeah, there were
Very
some
weird.
loud journalism students in the hallway, too, that made a cameo there.
They did. They were 12 years old. It was very strange. Anyway, he's got to play it as if his dog just died because the team just lost, and he doesn't want to come off as if he's doesn't care. But once it got going, you could tell he's
by the end of that interview, he was kind of like, all right, I'm over it.
He's keeping an eye on things. And I forget who asked. Maybe it was Windy City Hockey asked in the chat, saying, is there a chance he would sign his ELC after his season's over? I think it all depends on how far Michigan goes.
Yeah.
But if they're eliminated early, I think absolutely there's a chance that we could see Frank Nazar.
Possibly.
Very similar to the Wyatt Kaiser situation last year, where he would play the last, 10 games or so, and then he would go to Rockford but not play for Rockford in the playoffs.
Yeah, maybe. If Michigan gets to the Frozen Four, then he's not playing for the Blackhawks this season because the Frozen Four is on the same weekend as the final weekend of the NHL season, so that wouldn't happen. You could see it, but if Michigan plays the way they played on Friday night, they're not getting very far in the tournament. They played like ass against. I know they came back and won the next night, but like Nazar wasn't very effective in that game because Michigan never had the puck. It's hard to be effective when you're chasing the puck around in your own zone all night. Ask the Blackhawks top line the last couple. So in that sense, he'll fit right in with the Blackhawks' current system of never having the puck.
Yeah, it is a epidemic with the Blackhawks, but yeah, I if there's something to look forward to this year, it would be potentially Frank Nazar. And you know what really sucks about it is I'm going to have to root against Michigan. Damn. It's always so hard for me to do.
Yeah, I have no problem. Like, walking in this to watch a Notre Dame versus Michigan anything, it's like, can both of these teams lose?
No, they can't, Greg.
Can
Notre Dame won 6-1. Recognize.
I recognized. I watched it. It was an awful game. It was an awful game. I mean,
Maybe it didn't feel awful to me because although I had my credential on,
well, you were happy with the result.
in my heart, I was happy with the 6-1 result.
I wanted to see a competitive game. I didn't, and it wasn't. I mean, it was Notre Dame scored early and
often,
and then Michigan got a power play and a 5-on-3 and scored, make it 1-1, and they were like, oh, Michigan's got control of this game now, and then nope. But a lot of that had to do with young Mr. Slaggert and the way he plays.
Yeah, he was really good.
He looks like the exact kind of player the Blackhawks need right now.
Yes.
Plays between the dots, continuously drives hard to the net, wants to score dirty goals, does whatever, will take a hit to make a play, clears guys out of the crease. He is what they need. He's what they're missing.
He is a character player, that's for sure. And as we sort of project these, we're going to hear from him in a second, but as we project down the road of, you've got your Ryder Ralstons and you've got I think Colton Dock probably is the top in that tier of not certain NHLers like Moore and Nazar, but probably in that second tier of prospects that the Hawks have right now.
Colton Dock to me will fill in the Dave Bolin kind of role.
Sure.
When they're good. That guy that can play up and down the lineup, can score you 15 goals, kill penalties, but just get under the skin.
Yeah, just to piss you off.
Yeah, because he's got that in his repertoire as well. So, but Slaggert to me, if the NHL in his future, he's that fourth line grinder. He's that Boris Kachuk type player with, I think, a little more speed and a little more offensive upside.
A little more toolsy, yeah.
But he'll play that kind of role. The penalty kill, the fourth line checking line. But maybe he scores 8 to 10 goals a year and gets finds a score sheet every once in a while, but plays that heavy style of hockey.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you got a guy like Kachuk that you can rely on for a long time and he's 20-something, coming into the league, great. Not that Kachuk is old, but, you can never have too many guys like that. Now you need better guys than that, but every team needs guys like that to win. So why don't we hear from Landon Slaggert in a much quieter room after Notre Dame's win over Michigan?
First of all, nice game for you. Pair of goals against Michigan. How'd that feel?
Oh, it was awesome. I was more focused on the team win. It was a big one for Coach Jackson, so it's awesome to see him get the 400th. But definitely nice to produce a little just to help the team's success.
Now, I'm curious, when you're out there and you're playing against another Hawks prospect in Nazar, do you chirp at him a little bit, or do you lay off the checks or lay into the checks a little more when you get a chance to hit Nazar?
Honestly, nothing more than usual. Just kind of trying to focus on playing my game. But obviously, I know him from development camp and stuff. He's a great kid, so it's cool to see him out on the ice and be able to compete against him.
You tied your career high in goals tonight. It only took you 15 games. What's attributed to this uptick in production?
I think it's a combo of a few things. Obviously, last year didn't go the way that I wanted, so definitely had a little fire in my eyes going into the off season. Knew I had to work on some things. So get healthy too. I think I had a few summers where I was just kind of busy with World Juniors and some different stuff. So it was definitely good to have a summer where I could focus on my game and kind of get back to where I wanted to be. And I feel like that's paying off. But also I think just trusting God is a big thing. Just the power of prayer is something special. So that's definitely been a game changer for me.
How special is it this season? You're the captain, your senior year, your little brothers are on the team, your dad's behind the bench. What does that mean for you?
It's awesome. It's it's kind of like deja vu. Obviously having my older brother Graham here a few years ago, so it was awesome playing with him, having my dad behind the bench, but then also now going through it with Carter. Obviously I have a few things to teach him for sure. I've learned from Graham and how to lead in that way, so it's awesome just being able to share these experiences with them.
I don't know if you know, but Kyle Davidson and Brian Campbell were here tonight. We saw them in Brothers before the game.
Nice, good
How do you guys keep in touch with them during the season? Are you in touch with the development staff? Is there one person in particular that kind of is assigned to you in terms of like development when you're here?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I've had some conversations with them, but mostly I work with Eric Condra, who's also a Notre Dame grad, former captain here. So definitely I already had a kind of a relationship before, so it's cool to see him in that position, and he's been great and helping me with my game, so definitely feel comfortable on that end of things. And then Kendall Coyne as well, so she actually she was the color girl for our games back, I guess it was the COVID year, so I saw her quite a bit, but she's awesome too, so those two definitely.
You've been keeping up on what's going on in Chicago when you have free time, watching all the young players get excited about your possible potential future role there.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's fun watching them. They're a fun team to watch. Obviously, having Bedard there, it's definitely special. He's a special player, but it's exciting to see where the program's going. So hopefully I can join them at some point.
Have you been in touch with Ryder Ralston at all?
Yeah.
In Rockford?
Yeah, I have, just keeping up on his stats and stuff, seeing what he's up to. But yeah, it's him and then Anders Bjork as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Brady, he's one of my roommates, so we chat with them quite a bit. But,
Nice.
Ryder scored again tonight.
Did he?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He had a couple goals last week, I think, a 2-goal game, which is awesome.
There he is, Landon Slaggert, very smiley.
Hey, when you win 6-1 and you have a pair of goals, you have reasons to smile.
Yeah. That's cool. It's cool to be there. The atmosphere of college hockey is awesome. If you can get to a game, even if you don't love Notre Dame and you just want to go see some good players, check out their schedule, see who's coming. Go see a game in South Bend. It's a beautiful arena.
It's a lot of fun.
Cool atmosphere. It's awesome.
You're right on top of the action. They got the band there. The pep band plays. The student section's chanting all night. Very small arena.
There's a guy with the horn.
Yeah, the guy with the horn.
There's a guy with the horn.
And
I like the gold helmets. I'll give them that.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's like seeing Arizona Coyotes game. It's the same. That's not even a joke. I mean, that's the same. That's the same. It's the same style arena, but it's a lot of fun. And the great thing about that, it's a little bit of a drive to get to if you're from the Chicago area, about 2 hours to get out there. But those games are so fast. The game from start to finish took less than 2 hours, with no TV timeouts and no, they're not stopping to resurface the ice every third whistle.
Yeah.
The games go by quick, so that's good.
The Compton Ice Arena in South Bend
Holds more than the Mullet.
holds
doesn't
more
it?
than the
Yeah,
Mullet.
I think I looked that up.
600
last
more
year.
people.
Yeah. So
God, it would be awesome to see an NHL game
I
at the
do
Mullet Arena.
want to. Before they're done, we have to make a road
Yeah.
trip out there for a Hawks game and hang out with our pals at PHNX. We need to make that happen before this new arena happens.
We'll stay with Petey.
Yeah.
We'll use his shower, not tell him again.
He wasn't supposed to know that.
Yeah, we'll say it Casa de Petey. That'd be a good time. No, but you know what I like about talking to these guys, and if you remember our conversation last year with Ryder Ralston, who had come from the Avalanche organization in the Carl Soderberg trade, we asked him, like, compare, like, how is being a prospect in Colorado versus being a prospect in Chicago, how is it different? And he said it's like night and day, the level of contact you have with the Hawks organization. You know, Slaggert mentioned, like, Kendall Coyne checking in and Eric Condor checking in. Like, these guys are in constant touch. And when we were there, Kyle Davidson and Brian Campbell were going to the game. They were in South Bend while the rest of the organization was in Winnipeg watching Rockford and Chicago play the respective Manitoba teams. Like, they're there. They're committed to the development of these players. And, yeah, of course, they were there for Frank Nazar. That's the big story. He's the top prospect right now that's not in the NHL. But for Landon Slaggert to get to see those guys after a game, that's got to feel like, all right, like, I'm here, right? Like, it is within reach, and they see it as within reach for me because they're investing in me.
Yeah,
and not just paying it lip service.
That's good for a guy like him because technically he can become a free agent this summer if he chooses to.
Yeah.
So having that FaceTime, that invested interest would probably make him be like, okay, no, I'm going to sign with the Blackhawks. They're the team that drafted me. They've been waiting 4 years. They've been in contact. So, like, I was gonna kind of see what his intentions were, but the way he talked about talking with Eric Condra, former Notre Dame guy, and Kendall Coyne, and them being there kind of made me, you know, I don't have to ask that question. I think if the Blackhawks are going to give him an offer, he's taking it.
Yeah, I would think so.
Like, the only way he reaches free agency if the Blackhawks move on. I don't think they are. And it's also good, you know, for the Blackhawks brass to be there a lot because there's a lot of undrafted free agents that will be there. There's some, you know, Adam Fantilli's little older brother is a defenseman from Michigan. You know, just because being part of a Fantilli family, you know, that somebody's going to give him a look. I bet you he ends up, you know, on a PTO or AHL contract with Columbus.
Sure.
But somebody's going to give him a look. TJ Hughes, another, not from that Hughes family.
Yeah, but he can pretend.
But yeah, we could add him. But he's like
he looked good.
And he looked good last year. And
yeah.
He's undrafted. Like, so those are guys that they could be scoping out too, because you need to fill AHL rosters. You need to fill out, you know, you need to look for other options besides the draft. So it's good to see them out there enjoying their brothers.
Yeah,
while the place was mobbed.
That TJ Hughes reminds me, if he wants to trick him into thinking he's one of the Hughes brothers. Craig Anderson, who is still playing somehow, when he was a prospect, he added an S to his last name, Anderson, SSON. So people thought he was Swedish.
Yeah,
and he thought that doing that would help his draft status, and apparently it did. It's worked out. The guy's been playing for 100 years.
Park Ridge native.
Yes, but he took that extra S off after a couple of years in the NHL because he thought, hey, if scouts are looking at a sheet and they see Craig Anderson with the Americanized spelling of Anderson, or they see that double S, they're going to say, oh, a Swedish goalie. We need that here.
Yeah. Surprised the Red Wings didn't draft him.
That's right. The rest is history.
I would have changed it to an E. Instead of adding an S, I would have put an E at the end, EN, as opposed to ON. And then I could have got free windows.
In an umlaut.
Yes. Last names ending in SEN are better, for sure. No doubt.
There he is. Yeah.
Fun fact, my first apartment on my own was in Park Ridge, about a block and a half down the street from Craig Anderson's parents' house.
Is there a historical marker on Craig Anderson?
The petition, I'm still trying to get signatures on the petition. I'm still like 7,000 away, but you never know.
You'll get there.
Yeah.
I believe you'll get there.
5,000 signatures needed?
Yeah, I needed 4,000. I need 3,999.
There you go.
You know, we'll start a GoFundMe just so we can get that done. I'm happy to do that for you. Well, if you want to go see Craig Anderson play hockey for some reason, you can do that. And you could do it with our friends from Game Time. You should not have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. Here's what's awesome about Game Time. You're going to see a concert at a non-traditional concert venue like the United Center or Wrigley Field, and you say, all right, well, like, these seats look good. Like, if I was going to a Hawks game, these seats would be great, but how do they look at a concert? You can view your seat from the Game Time app and see exactly what the layout's going to look like there. So if you go see, Pearl Jam at Wrigley or Guns N' Roses are coming this summer, right? You're not going to be under an awning or behind the post or something that's going to not let you see Mama Fratelli / Axl Rose, the same person. You want to be able to see that. You want to be able to see Slash up there shredding away, kicking ass. I love Slash, by the way. Duff McKagan slapping the bass. You don't want to miss that. You paid big bucks. You want to be able to see the game. You want to see the concert. You can do that with the Seat View feature on Game Time. They've got last-minute tickets, flash deals, zone deals. It's an easy way to find and buy tickets for every kind of event you can possibly imagine. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, use the code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. $20 off. That's like a beer.
That's like
at the game.
Yeah, that's like a beer.
Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHGO for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
$20 is like a quarter of a parking spot.
Yeah,
for your
exactly.
electric vehicle. And it's getting easier for businesses to switch to electric vehicles. That's something we all can get behind, right?
Yes.
For the health of the planet and the well-being of all of us who share it.
Yes, the electric grid is moving to meet your cleaner energy needs as we all move with confidence toward an electric tomorrow. And members of Electric Tomorrow.
It's my favorite Fish album.
Whether you have one delivery van or a whole fleet of shipping trucks, ComEd can help guide you to make the changes that make sense.
So, what should business owners do? Can you tell me?
Yes, I would recommend they go to ComEd.com/clean. There they will learn more about the resources, fleet rebates, and infrastructure incentives available to help businesses go electric. If you own a business, do not wait. Start making your plan today to switch to electric vehicles. Good for business, good for the planet, good for all of us. Go to ComEd.com/clean.
Did you say ComEd.com/clean? I zoned out.
I did say that.
I apologize.
I'll say it again, ComEd.com/clean. Go now and see how going electric connects us to a better way of doing business and a better future for generations to come. Good stuff. from
Cricket
ComEd.
says she once fell asleep at a Rush concert. I didn't know I was pregnant and I was exhausted. I don't need to be pregnant to fall asleep at a Rush concert.
You
Just
weren't
saying.
pregnant until you went to a Rush concert and they used their progressive
Geddy
metal
Lee.
magic to get you pregnant.
Neil Peart's drums just did its magic.
Is that what he was? What he's saying? I love you, man. You want some Neil Peart all up in you? No. There are plenty of guys licking each other's bases.
Rush is a band that I can't do. Well, I can
I like Tom Sawyer and I like Spirit of Radio. The rest, I'm good.
I can respect the three individuals as
Sure.
great musicians.
Fair.
They are. But the second Geddy Lee opens his mouth, I'm out. I'm done. I can't not take the voice.
Yeah.
I can't. It's like a cat going through a meat grinder. Just
I got
not
you on
for me.
that. Yeah, I mean,
Not for
I
me.
hear that.
But like great bass player, great guitarist, amazing drummer, put them all together, it's not the recipe for me.
Well, the working man. Call me the working
That's
man.
all right. I like
I'm
that.
good.
Tom Sawyer and Spirit of Radio. I have to like Spirit of Radio because
Do
I
they have
worked
any
in radio.
instrumentals?
Probably.
Those would probably
I mean, they're prog rock. They have to have an instrumental.
I mean, the instrumentals would be my favorite Rush songs then.
yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I know Bruce Miles is probably going to stab me with a pen tomorrow in the press box, but it is what it is.
Yeah, Bruce, for the record, I did not besmirch Rush. I just, they're just not my thing. It's okay.
I said they're great musicians. I just don't like them.
That is fair. That is a fair opinion to have.
I can respect their contributions to prog rock.
Yeah. All right, we have a decision to make here. We've got Luke Richardson from Post Practice. Do we want to play that, or should we just summarize what we heard today from Luke?
How much time we got? We got like 15 minutes. We should
Yeah.
probably just summarize it.
Let's summarize it.
Yeah.
First and foremost, Jared Tenorti is in the concussion protocol. Not sure how long he'll be out, as happens with concussions, that's for sure. But another chance for maybe Crevier just draws in now, and he's there every night. Don't know if they're going to call somebody up.
It sounded like that's probably an option.
Yeah.
Because he mentioned they've got 4 righties and 2 lefties. Mentioned that like Murphy played his offsides with Seabrook, so maybe that's something they could do. I mean, Murphy's having enough problems playing his regular side.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So, but he did say they didn't call up anybody today because they wanted to get home. They wanted, the Ice Hogs just got back from a road trip. They played last night, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a call up tomorrow. Maybe this is Kaiser coming back because he could play the left side.
It's Phillips left side.
I thought it was Kaiser Phillips left right. So we'll see.
He's left-handed, so he's left side too.
So I would think maybe we see that call up, or maybe they decide somewhere else.
If the argument against keeping Phillips here was that him and Tenorti are too similar, if Tenorti's out, you know how I feel about this. I think I would take Phillips over a healthy Tenorti anyway.
Yeah.
So if I'm making a call up, if it's up to me, that's who I'm calling up. But
yeah, Tenorti, it wasn't like a major play where like stayed out on the ice. Like it was one of those where like he took a hit, continued to play, and then it was one of those things where like after the game he was like, I just don't feel right.
Something's wrong.
So,
yeah.
Hopefully it's a speedy recovery. Say what you want about the production you get on the ice from him. The dude cannot catch a break.
Yeah, he has had so many.
Just been last year he was a walking calamity with, breaking his jaw, and then was it the skate first to the face?
I think the skate was first.
The skate first, and then broke the jaw.
It was wired shut.
Yeah,
and then he got in a fight the day he came back.
Right, and it's just like the dude, and then this year he was dealing with another injury, and now he's in the concussion protocol. I mean, I know a lot of this is a product of the way he plays the game.
Yeah.
But it's still, cut the man some slack.
Well, it's got to be frustrating for him too because
he knows that he's fighting for playoffs.
Yeah, and he finally seems to have earned an NHL spot with the Hawks, and now that he's earned it, he just can't stay in the lineup. It's brutal for him. I feel bad for him.
I did kind of get a little on the Andreas Athanasiou update. Luke said he was hoping he's going to start skating by the end of the week, which is only 2 days. So hopefully we'll see him on the ice in the next day or two. But he did. I don't know if he slipped. I don't know if this came out or not, but he did say it's a groin injury that he's dealing with.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if that was out or not. But he was just saying he's been on the slide board in the gym. But he said with a groin injury, you don't want to get him on the ice too fast.
Especially that guy.
Yeah. So I don't know if that detail had been out there yet. I couldn't recall, but I was kind of like, ooh, groin. Okay, we've got a specific injury.
Okay.
So, yeah, obviously with a guy whose biggest / only weapon is skating.
Yeah, right. Really.
You don't want to mess around with the groin.
Anything else we learned from Luke that was interesting?
Blackwell is still a work in progress. That's such a weird thing because he's been a full participant in practice and morning skates for 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
They're still maybe they're just well, we really don't have a spot for you, so you're still hurt. I don't know, but we'll see what happens.
If he's healthy, I'm giving him a look. Why not?
The forward lines remain the same. No changes up front. I had some ideas for a possible line. We could talk about this another day. It's more for when Athanasiou comes back, maybe a mix-up. But then there was some good stuff about, obviously the Foligno, the Joey Anderson, Jason Dickinson line. A lot of praise for those guys about, playing their simple and effective brand of hockey. Interesting stuff about Connor Bedard, some of his turnovers.
Yeah.
And how... after the first period, he went in the coach's room. Said, "Can I see that play with the errant drop pass?"
Yeah.
And then Luke said he saw it, and he realized, okay, Seth Jones wasn't there where I thought he was, and you could tell he was disappointed that he made the wrong play. And then he was asked about the iPad, and that desire to learn. Does Connor Bedard lead the team in time on the iPad? And he kind of poo-pooed the iPad.
Yeah, he did not like that.
And it's not the first time he's kind of, frowned at the technology where he says, he's not a big fan of guys getting off the ice and going right to the iPad and not paying attention to what's going on in the game. He says there's a lot of things that could be happening that you can learn from when the other players are on the ice. And then if you got your head buried in the iPad and he calls their number, they just got to drop the iPad with their gloves on. And they're jumping on the ice, not aware 100% of what the situation is.
Yeah, where's the flow?
Are you jumping into an offensive rush? Do I need to back check? Is there a vulnerable player on the ice with a broken stick? So he wants the guys to save the iPad for the in between the whistle, in between the stoppages of play, not while the game's going on. There's time to learn from that. He says you can learn more by watching the game when you're on the bench than watching your shifts. they get their shifts after every game sent to them, no matter what. So you're going to see it. So interesting stuff.
It's funny. It's
like the old school versus new school, and trying to find the right medium.
I don't think he was doing it in a frustrated way like towards Bedard, but it's interesting to see like the generational change in terms of that, where these kids grew up with like technology is part of their life. Like I remember my daughter was a baby, like without hair. She had like the Friar Tuck hair going on, and was showing my dad how to use an iPad for real. Like it's intuitive for people of that generation. My daughter's 13, Connor's 18, and like I don't know, it's such a natural part of their lives that they probably don't think of it that way. But Luke's point is correct. Like I might have to tap you quickly, and you've got to know like who's out there. Why am I being tapped right now? Why is this out of the ordinary? You've got to be engaged in the game,
right?
And I agree with Luke on that. I really do. And look, like Bedard also, let's be honest, like he's always been a team player, of course. He's always gotten credit for that, but his path has always been NHL. So even the games he played in Regina and before that, like he was very much focused on his game and his development of the game. And now that he's here, he might have to kind of shift that a little bit, which I think he has. Again, I don't want this to sound like I'm crapping on Bedard, but I think it's just a mindset thing of, hey, like Luke said, yeah, I can go back and look at what I did on this shift right now, but my singular focus needs to be on the game that's happening at this moment.
Right.
Like you said, they get every play, every shift after every game to look over and go over, and it should not happen while play's happening.
It's part of the society we live in, especially for the younger guys. It's instant gratification. They want instant results. We're so used to like not waiting for anything. We're like, okay, well, I literally did something 4 seconds ago. Let me watch it again on my phone.
Yeah.
Like there's a time and a place for video. And yeah, I think that's a struggle for some NHL coaches, especially more of your old school guys. Like I can't think guys like John Tortorella are like big fans of the iPad either. Like I don't even know what the Flyers have them behind their back.
No, I don't think so. They have Abakai. Is that the plural of abacus?
Yeah, I think that's right.
That's probably right. Isn't that a DJ that plays a lot of blues over here? DJ
so.
Abakai?
Borbacus in our chat said, "Wait, they aren't playing Candy Crush on those iPads?"
I mean, it might be. It's if
I
you
used to
watch
crush the
if you
candy.
watch the replay
I think they're more
of when they show, but
Farmville guys.
I said to Greg, I'm like, he's watching Bluey. Like it was so funny when he gets on the bench and has the iPad. He looks like a little kid who's being distracted. Like, okay, Timmy, like here's your iPad. Be quiet so mommy and daddy can do what they need to do. And he's just like, looking at it. No one's paying
It's like
attention
the
to
kid
him.
at the restaurant watching his iPad just to shut him up.
It definitely had that look to it. We got a few minutes left. I'm so glad. We talk about this all the time where we say something and then it's like instantly like referred to or pointed out by someone else. I wrote probably 1,000 words today on Lucas Reichel on that overtime play, and the fact that Pete Blackburn was like, are you talking about the play in overtime where he decided not to go to the net? He said word for word exactly what I wrote. He should have put his shoulder down and driven past Stastny and gone to the net and scored. Oh, my God. It's so fun when people see it the way you see it. And that's the first time we've heard any pundit that is not like us or someone in our chat call this team soft. And that was the first observation you had about them. That to me is noteworthy.
He's not lying. I mean, we've seen it. Like, you've got 1.5 lines of players that will forecheck and go to the dirty areas, and too much peeling off, too much playing outside the dots. Too many Dylan Securas, not enough Tyler Securas.
That's for sure. So if you're a CHGO diehard, I wrote about that for the Blackhawks beat today, and there's some screen caps in there of the play I'm talking about. We can't use video, but I went on and found some. Here's screen 1, screen 2 that kind of breaks down that play, and I think it perfectly summarizes what Lucas Reichel's been struggling with all year. And while you're there, if you're not a diehard, today's the day to become one.
Is it ever?
A yearly membership today is on sale for $59.99. And look, I know you see that and you're like, whoa, that's how much it costs to be a diehard, but here's what you get. Right off the bat, you're getting a shirt or a hat. So there's
That's a
$30.
That's half of your membership fee.
That's
right
half
there.
your membership fee. So if you planned on buying one piece of CHGO merch all year, you're already cut the membership in half. Then you save 20% on every piece of merch you buy for the rest of the year. You save 20% on all of our events, including our takeovers. So if we find a few more tickets for the Chris Chelios retirement game, which will also be Patrick Kane's first game back in Chicago, you would save 20% on that game. Or the Florida takeover we had before. Tailgates, 20% off. So if you sign up, you already get the shirt. Even at full price, it's a great deal. You sign up, you get the shirt. You're cutting the sale price in half. You go to 2 events, and you've basically, the membership is paid for itself. So if you've been waiting to jump on a diehard membership, do it now. AllCHGO.com also makes a great gift.
Yeah.
And also then you get to read your wonderful writing.
The Blackhawks beat and the rebuild report is coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. You can gift a membership to the sports fan in your life, and you can put this great Die Hard box right in front of me under the tree. And inside that box is going to be their free shirt and or hat.
Yep.
A bunch of cool CHGO Die Hard stickers, your membership card, and all the perks that come with it. So great deal right
It's a nice
now.
hat, too. It's got the CHGO, like this logo, is also on the underside of the bill. So every time I'm like, which hat am I wearing? Look up. Oh, very conveniently remember which hat I have on, which is a very nice feature to have. And I think the only thing better than a diehard membership is bacon.
Yes.
I have to agree. As much as I love the Die Hard membership,
It's
I
just
love
science.
bacon.
It's just science. That's all it is.
I didn't get this amazing physique by just by just reading Die Hard articles.
That's right. Exactly. Well, if you want some bacon, you got to hit up our buddy. He's in the chat today. Charlie the Bacon Guy, based in Woodridge. He makes craft bacon and bacon jams in over 30 different flavors. They are naturally cured, and they do not have all sorts of preservatives and chemicals and crap in there. Everything in Charlie's
Just
Bacon.
bacon.
That's right. Bacon and bacon jam. Everything is natural. Nothing that Charlie can't pronounce. Vacuum seals, and it makes a great gift. Holidays coming around. You're kind of like, man, what am I going to get my dad or my brother?
Is there any
my
chance he's
wife?
coming to the office in the next 2 days?
I think he's coming soonish.
He says there
my
may
gosh.
sources tell me
The
Bacon
day-
sources.
maybe some bacon jam for the holiday.
Oh my God!
party.
Please,
Maybe.
please. It is
Yeah.
my favorite thing. I am going to bring Ruffles and just put it so much bacon jam.
You know what's
over
really
all
good with
this.
it? Frito scoops.
Yes.
They're a little sturdier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. But get yourself some. And here, we were talking about the gift element. You're always looking for something creative. You're always looking for something different to do for the holidays for these people you've been buying for your entire life. Buy a couple pounds of bacon, throw it in go get in one of those igloo coolers, and wrap the cooler. You're getting a cooler full of bacon. That's a great gift. It's unexpected. It's unique. It's going to make everybody in your family happy. Here are some of the flavors offered right now. Maple pepper, Nashville hot, French toast, buffalo, ranch, jalapeno garlic, jardiniere, and malort. What? And the bacon jams are the original, the bourbon, the spicy, the peach. I hear he's making an apple butter bacon jam.
Shut the front gate.
He's made it before. I think someone ordered a new batch, so there'll probably be some of that available soon. So, Jay, shut up and tell me how to buy bacon. Okay, I will. CharlieTheBaconGuy.com is his website. You can go through there, select what you want to order, and what's great about the website is it's got all the bacons he's made in the past there. So if you see one that's not available at the moment, but it sounds really intriguing to you, if you get in touch with Charlie and order enough, he'll make you a special custom batch of whatever flavor you want. He also will take your suggestions if you have one. Jalapeno garlic, that was my idea.
That's a good one.
It's a really good one. So hit him up, CharlieTheBaconGuy.com.
bacon.
The shawarma bacon's great. I'm not a big ranch on my food guy, but the ranch bacon is terrific. It's all great. Go to CharlieTheBaconGuy.com. You'll be happy you did because you'll be full of bacon, and there's nothing better than being warm and cozy and full as the winter approaches. Are we officially in winter yet? Not yet, right?
Not yet, but check this out.
Uh-oh.
Borbicus, we just referenced in the chat. You guys drive a hard bargain. Just signed up as a diehard.
Nice.
Thank you, sir.
CHGO.
Ma'am.
Make
Thank
sure you
you.
hit the Blackhawks beat today.
Yes, and the rebuild report tomorrow. We
That's right.
appreciate the support.
That is super cool. Thank you, Borbicus.
Yeah, thank you, Borbicus. We appreciate you. We appreciate everybody in the chat. Hey, on your way out, do us a favor and smash that like button for us. And we want to remind you that the CHGO Blackhawks podcast is powered by our friends at ComEd. It's getting easier for your business to switch to electric vehicles Learn more at comed.com/clean. Thanks to Law for running the show today. Good to have him back behind the wheel. Hopefully Mario's feeling better. I saw he was in the chat for a little bit today. And we're back tomorrow, post-game, Hawks and Ducks. So, 10:30-ish we should be on. So join us after the game on the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.